Any business you have to put a lot of work into if you want it to be successful. I'm not gonna lie to you. Uh, Running a business is hard. Make content with a purpose. If you can build your influence, there are companies that want to pay to get their product or their brand in front of your audience. People will pay you to take them from point A to point B. And a lot of times when I start working, especially with new coaches and consultants, they're like, well, who am I to charge somebody to teach them how to do a thing? And I felt the same way. And here's my top pick. My number one pick of businesses to start if you want to be successful in business is, so out of all the entrepreneurs that I work with, especially new entrepreneurs, they are always asking, well, what business should I start? And so in this video, I'm going to go over my top 10 businesses that you can start if you're looking to jump into entrepreneurship. What's up, CEOs? It's Coach Nick. Welcome back to the Launch and Profit podcast, where we talk about everything launching, growing, and scaling your business. And in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the top 10 business ideas that you can implement if you are looking to get into entrepreneurship. And here's the thing. There are some ideas that are harder, that seem easier, and there are some ideas that are easier that you may think is harder. And so we're going to start our way back. I'm going to go from the ideas that you may think is easier, but they're actually harder. And then on the very last one is going to be my top pick. Actually, the last two are going to be my top picks that you can make a lot of money in a little bit of time. So let's get started. So idea number one, drop shipping. Everybody comes to me and they're like, oh, I want to drop ship. All I have to do is go to Alibaba or whatever Express, and I can get these products and just ship it out. So drop shipping is where you are literally purchasing from a manufacturer, or you're not even purchasing from a manufacturer. You're selling for that manufacturer. They're packaging it. They're shipping it. Everything is going through them, but you are the face. Here's why a lot of people think that that's easy, because you see these YouTubers who's like, oh, I made like $10,000 in like an hour. And what you don't realize is that it takes a lot of work to move that many units. I want you to think of something. Let's say you have a goal of $10,000. Let's do some math here. So let's say you have a goal of $10,000 and you drop ship something for $10. Well, now you have to move 1,000 units to get to that $10,000 goal. Let's say you sell something for $20, right? Because again, when you drop ship, you're usually selling low ticket products, right? So you got a $10,000 goal divided by $20. You have to move 500 units. So this is why if you have a large following, even if you have a large following, they don't always buy. But if you have a lot of money to put into marketing, drop shipping could work, but it's still very hard to get it to pick up and for it to be profitable. So drop shipping could be a good idea, but you need a lot of resources to make it pop. The next one is t-shirt and apparel. If you are trying to create a t-shirt line alone, it can be a great idea, especially if you have a niche market. But again, how many shirts do you have to sell to get to your revenue goals? If you could create a service where you are creating t-shirts for churches, for schools, for government agencies, for groups, for homecoming, well, now you get into the premium market. So it's not that you can't create your shirts, but unless it's an idea that a lot of people can get behind and they want to purchase and continuously making purchases, it can be a difficult and challenging idea as well. All right, idea number 3. This is for my folks who have something to say and something to write. Ebooks. Ebooks are great, but they're great as lead magnets. What's a lead magnet? A lead magnet is a free or low ticket piece of information or item that you use to capture leads for your business, right? But to sell ebooks alone, again, we go back to, if you want to make 10K and you're charging $5 for an ebook or $7 for an ebook, how many of those do you have to move in order to get to your revenue goals, right? Number 4 is vending machines. Oh my gosh, everybody comes to me and they want to start a vending machine business. What you don't realize is that unless you have multiple vending machines, it will never get you to your revenue goals that you want, unless you are in like a very poppin' place which again, at that time, you can only put so many products in one machine. So if you want to start a vending machine business, it can be profitable, but the play needs to be I start one vending machine business. Once we get to a certain revenue, then I start another one and another one, and we have to make sure they're in high traffic areas, right? So it can be successful, but you got to put a lot of work behind it. And let me be clear, any business you have to put a lot of work into if you want it to be successful. I'm not going to lie to you. Uh, Running a business is hard. There are easier ways to do it, but it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak of heart. You have to have grit and gall to be successful in business. So you may as well do something you halfway like. You may as well do something you can charge a premium for, that you don't have to do too much work behind to sell. The next one is hair, skin, and beauty care products. I love my ladies that come to me and they want to sell hair or all natural skincare products. Let me tell you, the way to make this successful is to leverage. How do you get in front of multiple people who want to buy your products and services? I have this client and her name is Queen, and she sells all natural skin and beauty care products. And when she was coming in, at first she was just trying to sell on social media. She was like, Coach Nick, I don't understand why people aren't buying. I'm posting on social media like I'm supposed to. I'm going live. Like I'm doing the things that I feel like I'm supposed to do that they said on YouTube to do, but it's not picking up traction. She made maybe a couple $100 a month from selling her all natural skincare products. I walked her through my launch strategy, which again, if you want to learn more about my launch strategy, I'll put a note somewhere in the description or the show notes where you can take that training. I just did a free training on it, breaking it all down. But in essence, the strategy is create a launch event. So what I had Ariel do, I said, well, do you think you have friends who have something special coming up? A birthday, bachelorette party, anniversary? Well, yeah. So, well, why don't you have your friend gather their friends, throw a party, and tell them that you are going to come and you're going to bring a bottle of wine, maybe some cheese and crackers, and you are going to do a presentation where they can try your skincare products and where they can even maybe make some like shea butter, like she has like shea butter with different flavors or whatever. They can even make those on site and tell her for every sale that is made at her party, you're going to give her commission. I'm giving not all the game, but most of the game. Okay. You're going to give her commission. That girl brought 20 other ladies to that party, and Ariel walked out of there. Now, mind you, before she worked with me, she made like maybe $100 a month. After she worked with me and after she started to create this concept at this party, she made $1,000 at that one party. $1,000. Now, for some of you, y'all like, oh, $1,000 ain't no money. Listen, if you knew that you were going to go to this party, if you were going to have a party and you were going to make $1,000, and now you're going to do that. And now she did that every Sunday. Every Sunday she had a booking for a sip and shop. Now you're making $4,000 to $5,000 a month as opposed to making $100 a month. Makes sense? All right, now we're getting into what I call six-figure ideas. And these business ideas, anyone can start. They're low startup cost, but high profit margins, which is why I recommend them. If you could do it, again, you could do those other ones, but listen to the strategies, right? Service-based businesses. Here's why service-based businesses are super like easy to start and easy to make profit, because you don't really need to purchase anything before you make your first sale. So whether you are wanting to be in catering, you want to be an event planner, you want to be an accountant, you want to be a virtual assistant, you can make a lot of money doing that without having huge overhead and expenses. So a lot of service providers that I work with outside of like coaches and consultants are usually caterers. And a lot of them feel like I can't get started until I have my chafing dishes or until I have a kitchen, until I have like I've made my rented a kitchen or all these things. And the first thing that I tell them is, no, you don't actually. You need to go get your first sale first, and you need to make sure you're charging appropriately so that when you make that sale, now you can buy the things that you need. And so let me give you guys who are caterers a play real quick. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on this because y'all like this on TikTok. But if you want to provide chafing dishes and china and silverware and all of that stuff, you need to rent that out to your customer. And then you use that money to either purchase the inventory or subcontract and rent from someone else. Again, this play even goes for event planners. So at first I was trying to do the centerpieces, do the decor. I'm terrible at decorating. So it wasn't until I started charging more. Now I can pay a florist to come in and do the centerpieces. Now I can pay a balloon artist to come in and do the art, right? I can pay an event designer who doesn't want to plan the event. They just want to come in and set up the full event. And now I just show up and schmooze my client. Service-based businesses is definitely the way to go. All right, number, what is this, 8. A wise person once taught me that proximity is power. And it's true. 10 years ago, when I started my event planning business, I had no customers, no revenue, no clue. And when I started to build a tribe, not a circle, but a tribe, I was able to start working with some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in the country and build a 6-figure business. So now as a business coach, I've taken the liberty upon myself to start a community called CEO Nation, a community for entrepreneurs who are looking to launch, grow, and scale their business. We have monthly workshops and coaching sessions, monthly Q&As, resources, and not only that, you get to network and connect with entrepreneurs from around the world. And you can get started today for just $1. So click the link in the description and get started today. Affiliate marketing. Okay, so this is for my people who you have a nice size audience. You got something to say. You don't mind getting on camera. You don't mind getting on YouTube, making content. Don't just be out here in these streets making content. Make content with a purpose. If you can build your influence, there are companies that want to pay to get their product or their brand in front of your audience. This is why we're doing this podcast. This is why you should do a podcast. This is why you're going live on Instagram, or you're doing testimonials and tutorials on YouTube, or you are dancing on TikTok. Garner eyes, and then you need to approach people with budget and money that will pay you to get in front of their audience. I'm getting ready to help this. I have a client who is an author, and we're getting ready to launch her books. And we are using influencers to promote her book. Would you know, when she started working with me, she was making selling a couple of books. I think when we started working with her, again, I'm not going to name drop, but when we started working with her, she has been writing books for the last 5 years. Over 5 years, she's made $5,000 with her books. Well, after we started working together and we implemented this strategy and other strategies, now she's made $1,000 in a weekend selling books, leveraging influencers. So again, affiliate marketing, build an audience, create content, attract corporate sponsors who want to get in front of your audience and will pay you to do so. All right. And these two are my top 2 picks. These two I feel are the easiest to do. And when I say easiest, that's relative, but the easiest to do, low startup costs, high impact, high revenue, high profit margins, and that is coaching and consulting. Everyone has experience. Everyone has a story. You need to understand, well, what expertise, what skill sets do you have? What talents and gifts do you have? People will pay you to take them from point A to point B. And a lot of times when I start working, especially with new coaches and consultants, they're like, well, who am I to charge somebody to teach them how to do a thing? And I felt the same way. When I first started as a coach and consultant, I'm like, okay, yeah, I started my event business, but who am I to teach other business owners how to build and grow a business? But what you have to understand is that while you may feel that there are plenty of people who are much further along than you, there are just as equally plenty of people who are way behind you. And even if you are just 2 steps in front of them, they will pay you to show them how to take those next 2 steps, how to get from point A to point B. right? So I help people launch, grow, and scale. If you've written a book and you've gotten on the Amazon bestsellers list, you could teach other aspiring authors how to create their book and get on the Amazon bestsellers list. You have music industry experience. You could teach up and coming artists how to make it in the music industry. I just had a great episode with my creative director, who's in the background, on how he was able to learn the different things that how else would you know unless you got with someone who was in this industry that made these mistakes, teaching you how to do the same. There are people who will pay you to do that. Do you think there are people who pay you $97 a month to teach them and mentor them? Do you think there's people who will pay you $5,000 to take them through a program to help them get to the next level or to achieve a certain result that they're looking for? Absolutely, because I'm in this industry. All right. And here's my top pick, my number one pick of businesses to start if you want to be successful in business is SaaS, which is a a system as a service. The best thing you could do is generate recurring revenue in your business. And a lot of people think generating consistent revenue means getting a new customer every month. If you could figure out what your customers or your audience needs that can be bundled up in a system as a service, you will never have a problem with generating consistent revenue unless you stop marketing in your business. We moved to this business model a couple of, actually like 2 years ago, to where we were recommending different systems for our clients to use to run their business. And I'm like, why don't we just create a system and give that to our business owners? And there are people that pay us every month, even if they're not working with us currently, because we're providing a system as a service, right? So how can you do the same? Right. So those are my 10 businesses to start that over the 50 plus businesses, successful business launches that we have done, we have been through the gamuts, we've been through the ups, the downs, the all arounds that I have seen be the most successful. Those are the strategies. Again, the ones that I mentioned at the top of this episode are a little bit more difficult, but listen, anything will work if you can work it. And what you need to understand is that you deserve to thrive and not just survive, and that this will work. I'll see you in the next episode.